Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the stream. I like to do these pre-shows before every episode of Critical Role now, and then we also do reaction videos the next day. If for those that don't know, I've been covering Critical Role since Campaign 1. I used to interview, well, I still interview the cast. I've got a couple interviews for the Mighty Nine. I reviewed the Mighty Nine recently as well. I did have the chance to watch the entire season, so that was really exciting. What else? I just got back from LA on two of the worst flights of my life, and I hurt all over. So, anyways, I thought everybody, I like these little chats. I like to hear your theories. I like to have my own theories about what's happening in Critical Role. Oh, the audio is a little bit low. How about now? Is this a little bit better? It seems to keep happening. How about now? That should be better. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Critical Role. I'm excited to get to cover it. So we do these little pre-shows. Next day I do a reaction video. I interview the cast as well and the crew. I also am a really huge fan of Darrington Press and Daggerheart. But yeah, if you've probably seen a couple, hopefully you've seen a few of the interviews I've done with Matt and the rest of the crew back in the day. I was really super lucky to have been during the season finale of Campaign 1. I was actually in the building, and that was... it was exciting to be there, but like it was such a momentous occasion. It was kind of wild, and we weren't in the studio. We had like a viewing room, but then I interviewed the cast ahead of the resolution of Campaign 1, which was wild. The Critical Role cast are very kind with their time. I love interviewing them. They have great insights, and I don't know how they do it sometimes because those folks work hard as hell. So that's why we're doing the pre-show. We've got a lot of weird speculations about people's classes, subclasses. Naturally, we also have some homebrews, subclasses, and spells happening all at once. But it's just something that's kind of fun to like theory craft, and I'm a big fan of reaction videos and content like that. So thanks for hanging out. I am, and you're gonna find out why this weekend. Probably starting tomorrow. I am exhausted because I've been doing a lot of work on some stuff, and that stuff hopefully you'll get to see soon. So yeah. We got some questions in chat. Also, super chats are really welcome. YouTube is terrible about monetization. I can tell you right now, my review of the Mighty Nine was YouTube is unkind to videos that don't get monetized because it contained footage from the trailer. It got demonetized, and then it didn't actually have much reach. So I'm happy to give non-spoiler reactions for anyone in chat about the Mighty Nine as the full series. I can tell you it's really freaking good. I think I can tell you that I watched every single episode all in a row in one day, and it was not too much for me. Like it's easily bingeable in a day. As a reviewer, it was a delight, and I just wanted to get to season 2 immediately after I was done. So that's my glowing review of the Mighty Nine. Very dark. And if you are a fan of the Mighty Nine, I'm going to let you know right now. Seeing some scenes animated hits way harder and is a harder watch in a lot of ways. So that's not a spoiler. It's just the nature of animation. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and go over what happened. I really loved what a wild episode we had last week. I love Fey creatures in the Feywild. I think it's sometimes even darker than the Shadowfell, and there's a creepy whimsy to the Feywild. I'd like to think of things like Pan's Labyrinth, but we had this great moment with again the gnome that has 3 daughters. He provided Thimble with a sword that he had cast an enchantment in, but he wasn't so great at long-term enchantments. Usually his enchantments fade over time. This was a very important thing to note for everybody, I feel, is that he theorized that the enchantment on this little toy sword he gave Thimble, that originally he made for his daughter, he theorized that because his daughter believed it was magical, and it was, but believed in the sword so much that it became permanent. And this is a nod to what I'm starting to think is that belief is extremely important in the world of Campaign 4 for the world of Ahriman. Because none of his magic before had been permanent. His child's belief in the sword made it permanent. This kind of speaks to a little bit of what's going on with Wikander, who I suspect is a divine soul sorcerer / Azamar. But I am, and we saw a moment where Wikander was kind of worshipped for a moment because of a really great, great role. But we kind of got the impression that it might be possible that people can gain magical benefits through belief alone, which calls into question the gods themselves, right? Like, in the world of Ahriman, the gods seem quite limited. It seems extremely important for them to have followers and believers. So they might have been mortal in the first place. That's just speculation on my part, but it could be a road that we are going down. And there's still the weirdness of the fact that all celestial creatures, angels in this world, were brought in from another place. So that's a bit strange. Oh, thank you so much. We got 2 super chats. Have we seen any soul coins in Campaign 4? We have not. So, yeah, ghosts to cash. We have not seen any soul coins that I'm aware of in Campaign 4. I think for Campaign 4, it has very much diverged from any type of lore that we've seen in Dungeons & Dragons. So, I don't think there is, this is why we talk about demons and Tyranny being a demon rather than, say, being a tiefling. Like, she is flat out a demon. And her purpose is kind of Tyranny. And this factors again to what Tyranny's purpose is, or the belief that Tyranny has what Tyranny needs to do. We got another super chat. Wow, I really appreciate that. That's a great way to start a stream. And I can't believe we have 135 people here. That's fantastic. I know we hit like something like 400 last week, and that's wild. So, super chat. So the first super chat was from Cassius335. Thank you so much for that super chat. And the next one is Foolish. I like the spelling. Well done. How did Megan react to the Mighty Nine show? Megan is working 24/7. I will. Megan still works. Megan has this fantastic, perfect job for her job at Magic the Gathering. She's working really hard, and I watched all of the Mighty Nine all in 8 hours straight. So she didn't actually get a chance to. She watched 1 or 2 episodes, and it's so funny. I feel like bias works differently on me sometimes. So I have met the cast multiple times through interviews and stuff like that, but like my expectation of Critical Role is so high at this point that I realized I wasn't properly, even in my review, properly comparing the Mighty Nine to other animated shows. So much is going on in every frame of the Mighty Nine. The animation is just absolutely stunning. Titmouse is just killing it. And you can tell there's a lot of love for the story and for these characters. And because they're so unconventional, also because, these stories came from unconventional means. So I think that's been an interesting thing. So, I gave it a 9 out of 10 because I quite hate giving anything a review, and I think I'm not going to do reviews in the future. I'll do overviews for things like the Mighty Nine, but like I hate putting a number. I used to review video games for a living. I was at NBC News as the editor-in-chief of all video game content, if you can believe that. And that's in NBC National. It was a wild job. So I reviewed video games, and I would have to give them a number out of 10, and I kind of always hated that. I feel it's like reductive in a lot of ways. But Mighty 9, it's really fantastic. They've certainly, made some plot changes and stuff like that, and that's for the benefit of the show. And I like that. I actually quite like it when something isn't a one-to-one comparison from like the live show to an animated film, because then I don't necessarily know all the time what's happening. I like things to diverge. I mean, honestly, a good example is like Frankenstein the book versus Frankenstein the movies. And arguably, I'd say we just got the best Frankenstein movie we could have gone. We got another super chat from Smitty Smith. Smitty Smite 2368 again, back in chat, giving out $20 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's huge, dude. When you do super chats, I mean, I appreciate any kind of support, whether it's on Patreon or super chats. It's wild that people do that. Super kind. There's like gifts now, and you can give people subscriptions and all kinds of other stuff. But I also understand, I'm unemployed myself. So if you don't have money if you don't have money for super chats and all these other cool things, I totally understand. So, thank you, Foolish. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. That's wild. So I don't know. Yeah, this is something so one thing that we are looking at, and I keep on bringing up dramatic irony, and they are pre-taping these shows. There's no reason they couldn't cut between tables, and they have certainly done that for the Overture and stuff like that. And even the very beginning Soldiers table, we saw that the split happen previously between the Schemers and the Seekers. I wouldn't say no to jumping around a little bit more. So it does appear, we've got, and with the thumbnail for today's episode, it's clearly still focused on the Soldiers table. Maybe we'll see a little bit from one of the other tables, and then we're going to have a break for Thanksgiving, I believe. We have a wild Megan.
I saw that somebody had a question about how I reacted.
Yeah. Did you want to say?
Well, I was going to tell you. I only watched the first couple episodes.
Yeah, I told him.
I felt immediately traumatized, but also invested.
You would just like... There's not a lot of room.
I felt immediately traumatized, but simultaneously invested.
Perfect. I love you. Yeah, we're all traumatized by the Mighty 9. That's expect more of that from the show. And thank you for saying hi to Megan. So, getting back to all of it, I mean, we ended up, so we left the gnome's house, we ended up in the glade, actually, and where we met all the fairy creatures. They all had a bunch of great names. Big standout for Skinner, the red cap. Wow, horrifying. I really kind of want to play a red cap in Daggerheart. And I just realized today, this is how slow I've been because I've been traveling. What? In Daggerheart, like they've got gnomes, they've got fairies as ancestries. But man, what if you want to play a red cap? Of course you're gonna play a blood domain, right? Like that makes perfect sense. This is an old Scottish. If you're wondering why red caps have a Scottish accent coming from Brennan and Mulligan, it's actually a Scottish myth. And they're they look very gnomish in the world of D&D. They're actually more goblin-y in Scottish mythology, and they have red caps that they soak in blood. They are born of a blood pool of someone who has been murdered, and they are very angry and they want to stab. I'm going to put my hat in you is one of the absolute most insane things I've heard in a long time during a live play show. And if they do not make merch, I will riot. I'm going to put my hat in you. Oh God, come on. I have to text Critical Role right now. Just make a red knit cap that says, "I'm going to put my hat in you." What a whole. I mean, the looks that you're going to get alone, right? The looks. Thank you so much, Haley456 for the super chat as well. I really appreciate it. Or as a gift. It's not really telling me. It's a sticker though, so there's cool stickers that you can use. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's huge. Yeah. Gotta do the red cap, man. Red knit cap. It has to happen. Critical Role has to make this merch. Megan's in chat right now. That's lovely. God, I hope she's not watching me downstairs because that's gonna give me anxiety. Yeah, giant Ashley beanie. Yeah, blood. So yeah, I'm a little tempted to play a red cap. I'm not gonna lie, it's been on my mind. I have a lot of things. I want to play a fawn in Daggerheart as well. Goblin werewolf. I've got all kinds of. The list of characters I want to play is just unending. So wouldn't mind seeing more of the Soldier's Table. I mean, we've been with the Soldier's Table for a minute. Oh, yeah. No, we haven't. No, we are. Yeah, we're with the Soldier's Table right now. No pressure. Thanks, Megan. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to put your hat in you. My hat in you is... Skinner's amazing. I loved it. So we had a lot of really cool things. We had a great introduction to a bunch of the Fae folk. They're very suspicious of the tall folk. Travis Willingham as Teor Prideshire absolutely blasted one of the fairies who seemed ecstatic about the light. And they're pretty obsessed with light. And that establishes that they love the light. And then when Kander actually... basically Asmar's out. Erupting his... wings, Wikander, it's very clear that his bloodline is, attached to his father and his grandfather, who was a celestial, so he's effectively playing an Azamar, essentially. And the radiant light that came out of him typically would damage people, but he was able to control it. It was extremely bright. It made the shambling mound grow exponentially, like 20 feet tall. So... that was the Fae folk kind of, some of them ended up worshipping Wikander a little bit. And Wikander, despite knowing his religion's completely false, still believes in the religion, which I think is a really smart move by Sam Riegel for an acting reason. He did mention in other previous content that he put a lot of work into the religion of the Candescent Creed. There are volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes of... psalms and all kinds of stuff, and it sounds very Sam Riegel, but he basically built his own world. Megan's actually working right now and watching my stream. Yeah, it would be lovely to have Megan as a co-host. I agree. Megan and I actually used to do D&D videos together, and we co-hosted a show called Megan and Todd, and we just kind of just talked about D&D stuff, or silly ideas, or spider horses. And those videos did really well. Or Hot Takes on Magic Missile. I think that was our big runaway hit. Divided the community. It was a wild time. So, we had the nice introduction to the Fae folk. I really love the moments we had with the hag, with the reeds in their hair. And we found out that Teor's brother had actually showed up to the glade, and they had sent him to the Wraith Tree, unfortunately. There was a vision of the future, and that future might have actually represented, Hal's son. It was an orc warrior that was in chains. So that might be something that comes to pass. We don't know specifically if it was their son, but it's certainly heavily implied that, Hal's son will end up in chains in this particular scenario. Let's see, what else was notable? I really loved the moment with the hag. I thought that was fantastic and wild and creepy. And ate a memory of Thimble. And it was the memory of Thimble learning how to read and write. Not the ability to learn it. Just the memory of Thiazi teaching Thimble how to read and write. It was really a lovely scene, a really lovely moment of improvisation, where she explains why that she had trouble with kind of the J of it, with Thiazi's name and in sound alone, and so just started calling him Thaz. It was so very kind. We got a $5 super chat. Is there any real sign that Kattigan is actually a Beastmaster Ranger and not something Fae related, for example? So yeah, I can tell you that almost explicitly Kattigan is a Beastmaster Ranger. This came up actually during the show or the cooldown. I think it was right in the middle of the show that there was like kind of a bonding moment between. He was trying to figure out what he could do as a Beastmaster Ranger. He didn't say it explicitly, but then Laura, who still has all of the memory of having played a Beastmaster Ranger in Campaign 1, helped him with a rule or a ruling very, very specific to Beastmaster Rangers. So he's almost 100% Beastmaster Ranger. I haven't seen him use any spells outside of that range. He did use a spell called Clue, which is from a third-party game, which still, boggles the mind. But yeah, it was a cool spell. So they're not using only 2024 rules, clearly, but all signs point to Kattigan actually being a Beastmaster Ranger, which I need to take a look at, because I've always been a little tempted to play a Beastmaster Ranger, very specifically tied to my own wife got censored by by Streamlabs. It's pretty rough. All right. I don't know if they can see your chat now. I just made my wife a moderator on the stream. So hopefully it doesn't try to censor her anymore. It's weird that I can't prevent that from happening. What else do we have? Todd, didn't you and Megan stream Sea of Thieves for a short bit? We did. It was absolutely freaking hilarious. Megan and I still talk about those streams. We were up to a lot of hijinks we'd steal from other ships. We'd sleep on their ships to hide our gamer tags. This is early days before it was almost, kind of memed or it was popular. So we'd go on to pirate ships while they were doing raids and steal their stuff. And and we had some wild moments. We had one theft. We weren't streaming, and it makes us so sad to this day, but snuck onto the ship. This is her first time stealing. We both snuck onto the ship. We we use the emote that makes you look like you're sleeping, so it hides your actual gamer tags, and they don't even know you're there. So we're hidden behind this desk of this pirate ship, and they bring in all the gold, all the loot. So we grab two of the most expensive items in the game at the time, and we jump off the side of the boat. We then swim from that boat to a small rock outcropping at another island, fighting sharks as we go, drop that loot onto the rocks, and then we respawn onto our boat. In the distance, we can see this huge galleon on the horizon, which is the one we stole from. We're sailing, and they just hit their anchor, and they turn right around, and we knew they found out that we stole all their stuff. It was completely wild. They chased us down. They even boarded our ship, and we ended up killing them, but we had not taken the loot back from the island, so we went to the island. They're still following us as closely as they can, and there's a lot of maneuvering happening because bigger ships move slower than small ships if you're headed into the wind, so there's all kinds of strategy that you can do, but we grabbed the loot, got onto the ship, and we ran to the next outpost, and they were chasing us the whole time. We didn't breathe for like 2 hours, but yeah, Sea of Thieves, really fun. I'm thinking about starting to stream Dispatch because I'm really excited about it, and it's Critical Role adjacent. So, and I love games like that. Super talented folks worked on that. So, yeah. So back to the last episode. Great moment with the Hag. Hag talking about how they are also Fae, which people kind of ignore. The Feywild can be just as dark as the Shadowfell, especially with the creep factor. So it's always a good thing to remember. They left when they found out that Teor's brother potentially was, really set up to die by going to the Wraith Tree. They go to the Wraith Tree. They are very lucky. There's lots of zombies. There is, unsurprisingly, a Wraith. There are very specific runes, and this Wraith Tree is kind of a portal or a way for the undead to actually pop out of the tree in question. They do have this fight. They get a lot of really lucky rolls. Too many bad rolls, and you're swarmed by zombies, and you can easily die in a turn. The Wraith specifically, Brennan kind of called out that, Wakander could have died almost instantly had things gone wrong. Thimble had a really clutch attack right into the eyeball of the Wraith, and fireworks kind of spewed out of it. And then Thimble also set the tree on fire with help from Kattigan. And then the portal was effectively closed. This Wraith was a worshiper of a previous sun god that is now dead. It's interesting that Wakander is part of the Candescent Creed and is a worshiper of light himself. And Teor Pryshire's amulet at his side also started to kind of glow or burn, as I recall, as well. And that's kind of where we left things. So I'm interested in the aftermath. Could the Wraith Tree... what a wild... Wow, Steven. Could... You know what? That's the kind of... I like where your head's at, because I'm that type of player. I'm like, if you tell me this is a portal somewhere, I may stick my head through that tree and go to the land of the dead. Just to see what happens, just to tempt fate a little bit. They did burn the tree down, which is probably the smarter move. But yeah, that could have been yet another portal between the land. Clearly he said it, so maybe that door goes both ways. That would have been wild. We are finding a lot of portals in between the land of the dead and the living. And, again, it was mentioned... that the barrier is basically brimming with the dead between the land of the living and the land of the dead. That this membrane is kind of getting thinner and thinner and thinner. That does worry me. It increasingly feels like there can be a potential calamity that occurs where the dead spill out into the prime material plane at some point. But we're not so sure quite yet. It's clear, I still suspect the Aussie Fang of being more than he appears in stories. His collection of weird artifacts that actually have to do with the land of the dead is getting more and more suspicious. He had a lot of schemes, a lot of fingers in different pots. So, a little bit concerned. I can see your message, Megan. Are you in timeout? Okay. That's wild. So yeah, that's kind of what the episode summed up. And I had a previous reaction video, and I'll have a reaction video tomorrow as well. As always, the wonderful Danny Carr has really great some rundowns of previous episodes as well. Should you ever want to see it. Olbit is the gnome that we all love. It's absolutely I'm so glad Olbit didn't die. I was real worried. I think we're all real scared for Olbit. I'm not gonna lie. I think we're all nervous. I love the moment with Thimble and also the Hag, and the fact that the Hag took this memory and like slurped it up. And I thought that was absolutely super hilarious. And the moment with Skinner, the red cap saying, "I'm gonna put my hat in you," is beyond weird and creepy. I think someone mentioned Averin and Wild Magic. Wild Magic is wild. It's a really fun subclass. I highly recommend it. It is a lot of management, and you can kind of, if you use wild magic smartly, you can almost have infinite advantage. I think actually, and I am going to make a video about this. I think wild magic may be the most powerful subclass in D&D, actually. So I want to work with someone who's very good at analytics for very specific numbers and chance. But you can build a wild magic sorcerer that is extremely deadly. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Kattigan said you could tell me about the story. That's not the same as remembering, but being told a thing. What if she could never retain even the telling of something like that? I think the bad loss is the emotions. Like, you can tell someone, someone could tell you got married to somebody, but like, what if you couldn't remember getting married? I mean, how horrific would that be? Not remembering your wedding day. You telling someone a thing and being there and having that memory are two very different things. So if Kattigan does, tell Thimble about that memory that she lost and what was detailed within that memory, yeah, I could see it being a really nasty piece of hag magic that even prevents her from retaining that information. I think that would be a good moment. I'm just looking at chat real quick. I still believe that Wakander is a divine soul sorcerer, but he could be a very specific subclass that maybe, Jeremy Crawford worked on. But all signs point to divine soul sorcery. So. Yeah, that's my theory too. Like, she won't care, and yeah, it's gonna be a weird thing. I mean, I think hag magic kind of is. I wouldn't say everlasting, but it's nothing to thumb your nose at. That's for sure. So hag magic has a curse is a curse, and that's just good world building as well. But I love the red cap. That was one of my favorite things. So that's kind of how the previous episode was. My current theories is I'm really suspicious of how powerful belief is in this world, and I am now. Yeah, everyone seems to think he's used the Clockwork Soul sorcerer ability. You can negate advantage and disadvantage with the luck feat. You can do. There's a lot of ways to negate disadvantage, so I don't know that was necessarily a Clockwork Soul ability. He's actively making fun of the fact that he's not a cleric and clearly a sorcerer because he's using meta magic and all this other stuff. So happy Thursday, everybody! Happy bidet. Wakander had a banger of an episode, that's for sure. Holy crap, that was pretty wild. Yeah, Vaelus. I love Vaelus. I am pretty eager to get to another table. I'm not loving the soldiers table by any stretch of the imagination. My only issue with him being a Clockwork Soul sorcerer is it's not on theme in any way unless he is somehow secretly a construct. Like he is some kind of robot boy or something like that. Certainly you could have an obsession with balance, but he's obsessed with light. He's never bringing up anything that's kind of Clockwork Soul oriented, like balance. It never comes up in his dogma of any kind. It just doesn't fit the theme, and I could end up being wrong, absolutely, and I'll be the first to admit it, but like, it's a stretch. It'd be easier to say he's a draconic soul sorcerer, I think. So I just don't see, he's used healing. And in the moment Wakander revivifies somebody, if that is even possible, and so everything that we know, and here's the thing about divine soul sorcerers, and again, why I think Wakander is one, he has divine blood in his system. He doesn't have Modron blood or construct blood or have any any connection to the balance or anything like that. He is a direct descendant of a celestial creature, which speaks to divine soul narratively. This is the thing that makes the most sense. If no one's been resurrected until Octus, and then Wikander starts revivifying people, the first time he revivifies someone in this world, people are going to lose their minds. The first time he full-on resurrects someone, people are going to lose their minds. This world, and they specifically talk about this in previous iterations of the Divine Soul Sorcerer, is you may be this kind of messianic figure. You may be this, the chosen one. You may be seen this way because your source of magic is so foreign to that world. Divine Soul Sorcerers are typically in a world, there's maybe one or two on a planet, right? That's kind of the idea. And they can upend religious dogmas, and clerics sometimes cannot be a super big fan of Divine Soul Sorcerers as well, because they are a true source of magic that doesn't have to do anything. Yeah, certainly Asmar have some healing abilities as well. I think we're just going to have to wait and see. He's gonna give up the ghost pretty soon by casting a spell that is beyond the range of a Clockwork Soul Sorcerer. So, but I'm not seeing it yet. And again, the luck feat can nullify disadvantage. You can just use it. You can spend a luck point and turn disadvantage into advantage, because advantage and disadvantage cancel each other out. I don't know. I'm not on board with them being a Clockwork Soul Sorcerer. I appreciate all the... yeah, we'll see. And you know what? It's going to be hilarious if I'm wrong. I love being wrong. So, I never begrudge being wrong. I just... there's not a lot of evidence other than disadvantage being erased once. So, that's not enough for me. Maybe I'll go back and take a look at that clip. But yeah, I think we're getting a pretty good sense of what everyone's classes and subclasses are for sure. This is it's gonna be a hell of a seeing campaign 4. If they get greenlit for animated series, is gonna be absolutely wild. And it's gonna be a great if they make a campaign setting book, you got Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford sitting right there. It's gonna be a banger. So a collaboration between Brennan, Matt, and Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins creating a campaign setting with new subclasses and classes. It'll be freaking wild. So yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited for tonight's episode. I'm curious how long it's going to end up being. Just checking. I just got a weird notification. So we are an hour and 20 minutes out. It's pretty exciting. Yeah, by the way, I am not knocking anyone who thinks he's a Clockwork Soul Sorcerer. The whole point of us having this pre-show so people can kind of have a warm-up, a retread of the previous episode and get hyped for Critical Role, because there's not a chat right there in YouTube. So that's why we're here. So Undead Critter is hilarious. I think that's very charming. Yeah, we absolutely need a Yaramon campaign book. That's got to be on top of mind. We'd probably get a campaign book way before we got an animated series. But so far, Vox Machina has been killing it, and we got a Mighty 9. What a time to be alive, by the way. I really love... I wish there was a word for this. I really love seeing people do so well for themselves. One day you're just playing D&D, and then all of a sudden you have this whole... You're making animated shows and video games and books. It's just kind of a wild trajectory. What do we think about Robbie and the knife scenario? I love the moment with Tyranny. Yeah, that was interesting. They kind of retconned it a little bit, so I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with the knife there. What an intense moment between Robbie and Whitney, but they did the role-playing really well, and they checked in with each other, and I thought that was fantastic. Oh, I know. Poor Sam. That looked painful. That was pretty funny. Yeah, Robbie yelling at players and breaking people's fingers is it was pretty wild. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out more about that knife. I'm very curious. That was such an intense moment. What other thoughts? Yeah, I'm super tired. I don't know who my pilot was last night, but as we landed in Seattle, I've never hit. I've never been in a plane that hit the ground so hard and we didn't bounce. And we had people in the airplane scream, and me and this other person looked at each other like, what the hell just happened? We had never experienced anything like that in our lives. I've been on some rocky planes with some rocky landings. My whole body still hurts. That's how hard we hit the tarmac last night. My shoulders are sore, my back is sore. It was like someone just hopped a hill. I can't even begin to explain it. It was wild. We got a super chat from Rec Room. We debated Divine Soul and Clockwork so much that Murphy's Law will kick in and he'll be an aberrant somehow. Aberrant would kind of track, right? Like, look how, the Celestials aren't very celestial, right? They went rabid the moment the gods left. So that's really weird, right? So what we know about Celestials and their divinity is that the gods brought them in as their servants, Celestials. But the moment the gods were gone, they went bestial and rabid, which is really weird. So the only thing that was keeping them under control were the gods themselves. That doesn't really sound angelic, does it? That sounds a little aberrant mind soul sorcerer. So there's a real strong argument, Rec Room, that he could be an aberrant mind soul sorcerer and be an Asmar. What a wild twist that would be. When we start casting tentacles and shit, we'll find out. That would be pretty nuts. I mean, having those extra rows of teeth that his grandfather had, what is happening to his own father, that could be aberrant mind stuff. Biblically accurate angels are pretty upsetting looking. So, in mythology, so I'll allow it, Rec Room. That's a hell of a twist. I would laugh. I would die laughing if that was true. Oh, the cold open. Oh, God. It was so nice seeing Vaelus happy. Oof. Ashley Johnson playing a lot. It kills it for the goth characters, I gotta say. Oh. Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, okay. Well, that's a bummer. That's sad to hear. Oh well. I think Sam Riegel's subclass is the hottest debated thing in this game so far, which I'm fine with. It's pretty wild though. But I love how much works. You know what? It's such a suspicious character because Sam has done so much research into this character, and again, him talking about Taliesin, the Goth consultant. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I am fascinated by everything that's happening with the demons and like the cutting of when they captured Teor and the cutting of his shadow. That was really interesting. And the idea that they're maybe sewing demons into people. I don't know if anyone really like got to like explore that completely of what the logic was there, but it sounds like they are replacing people or controlling them by cutting off their shadows or inserting demons. There seems to be some kind of like soul smuggling happening. Or maybe they're taking devotees of the Candescent Creed and shoving them into different bodies who have already died. And kind of a weird get out type of scenario. Something really weird is happening with Kander's family. That's what we know. Yeah, and those who are new here, I've been covering Critical Role since Campaign 1. Actually, before Campaign... Well, no, not before Campaign 1. That would be wild. Started out interviewing Matthew Mercer years and years ago. I was actually there during the finale of Campaign 1 as well. You've probably seen my interviews with the cast. I was in Burbank doing some stuff. Interviewed the cast as well for the Mighty Nine, which was great to talk to them again. So yeah, I've been covering Critical Role this whole time for quite a long time. This is our second pre-show. I know I mentioned in our first reaction video that I was thinking... No, it wasn't the reaction video. I think it was... Oh, it was right before the very first episode dropped for Campaign 4. I mentioned I wanted to start doing a pre-show because I thought it was a good way to kind of warm up and get ready for the show. These VODs don't have any value past the show coming out, other than if I'm wrong about something, I'm on record as being wrong, fresh in everyone's brains. If in the first 5 minutes Riegel screams "I'm a Clockwork Soul Sorcerer," I'm gonna you got me. I messed up, but yeah, I really like covering Critical Role. It's a great cast. It's a really fantastic crew behind making these shows and everything else, and that positivity, and also just interacting with all of you and critters. And when I meet critters, especially at conventions, I'm not at PAX Unplugged right now. I just couldn't afford going. And I actually had to fly to LA to do some really cool stuff that you're going to hear about soon. But I couldn't afford 2 trips. Anytime there's a convention, it gets pretty wild in terms like hotel prices suddenly skyrocket and plane tickets. So, Aberrant Soul Sorcerer still would be hilarious. Sorry. I'm going to take 1 second, so talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. I'm back. Thank you. I was just looking up something. Let me just go catch up with the chat real quick. What I do? Yeah, I think it's inevitable. You have to make my first YouTube video about my apology video about the Clockwork Soul Sorcerer. That will be freaking hilarious, actually. I think that's a brilliant idea. Yeah, Emerald City Comic Con is happening. Critical Role Cast is actually coming to Emerald City Comic Con, so that'll be nice to have him in town. More Clockwork Soul Sorcerer debate. I don't know what Todd is focused on, but he seems serious about it. I have a very, very serious face sometimes. I also have to get this beard under control. I'm trying growing out a beard. It's probably slowly losing my mind though. Julien becoming an Echo Knight, I think, would be pretty cool. And the Echo Knight is certainly Matt's brainchild, so I could see him doing that. Whoa, thank you for the super chat. That's wild. Putting up the pre-show as a VOD wouldn't be so bad for people like me who have to wait for the weekend to get their CR fix. It is up there as a VOD. I mean, it does exist. I just don't promote it. Resting serious face. Yeah, no, not inaccurate. So thank you so much, fascist DLC, fascist dick. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. That's absolutely wild. That stuff really helps these. Yeah, no, I have a be right back. I didn't update the be right back because I didn't think I'd need it. So that's on me. I promise after this week I'm going to get update graphics. Probably have them animated in some way so they're fun. We've got really cool music, obviously, in our theme song. So we'll clean up this. We'll make this a little bit a better, higher quality stream than me just yammering at you for 2 hours. But we'll get it done. But I appreciate y'all being here, regardless. Todd, your special. Oh, Why do they do this? Oh, with the chat window. There we go. We got a message. Todd, your special appearance, lol, critical role appearance, reincarnation of Spurt, but dies faster than Chris. I would love, yeah, that would be amazing. I would love to die faster than Spurt in critical role. I'd love to sit down and then. Oh man, what a funny joke that would be, actually. Did I move my window? I did somehow. Oh, yeah. Weird. I don't know how I did that. I'm actually using a different lens today, so I'm a little zoomed in. I appreciate you. Be right back screen. I did a pretty wild back during COVID. I took a photo of myself blurry in the background and then made myself my own backdrop for a green screen, and then my friends took that image and also used it in their live streams. So we had all these live streams where I'm behind them and they're all like, it looks like they're all in my studio. It was pretty wild. It was bizarre. Thank you. Yeah, you critters are always, I mean, I remember I went to C2E2 and I met a bunch of cosplayers for Critical Role, and everyone was sweet and kind. And then I went to Gen Con, and people were so nice to me at Gen Con. It was kind of unbelievable. So yes, I have a deep, deep love for warlocks. I am leaning pretty heavily on sorcerers right now, though. Todd is using his editing sorcerer abilities in real time. Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of editing to do today and tomorrow. And Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a busy couple of weeks. But I appreciate all you jumping in the chat. It's always wild when people want to spend a amount of time in a live stream. It's pretty crazy. So, are there any particular topics people would like us to kind of take apart, think about, kind of examine coming up here before the next episode drops? We're getting pretty close. We're about an hour out, so. Just checking. So we know it's the soldiers table. They're using the thumbnail specifically for Teor. So, we've been chasing his brother for a hot minute. So, running into Casimir and his brother, maybe that's like the finale for the soldiers' table in a way, right? Like that's the big moment before we switch after the Thanksgiving break. It's just a theory, but I mean, these are all pre-taped, so they kind of already know. Like, the thumbnails are certainly always kind of a hint at what's to come, so this may be a very heavy Teor episode, just like they knew that it was going to be a heavy Wakander episode. Who do you think will be in the cold open this week? Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. That's wild. Well, we've already had... Who would be in the cold open from someone else? We already had a moment with Octuses, right? Who haven't we seen in a cold open? Yeah, I could see Murray. Yeah, Murray in the cold open would make a lot of sense. I could see that for sure. Bolaire would make sense, right? No, we already did a Bolaire one. That was a big mic drop plot reveal, so Bolaire's already had one. Oh, Mike Sims, that's right. Those were pretty funny. What a wild time COVID was. Yeah, we also know that Teor's brother did not die at the Wraith Tree or avoided the Wraith Tree and has moved on. I think we have to catch up to Teor's brother at this point and resolve kind of this initial plot line a little bit. Sid having a zombie bite be pretty wild. That's not typically how zombies work in D&D, and that certainly wasn't a threat necessarily. Like the zombies, I feel like if the zombies had a bite that infected people and they came back from the dead, that would have been explored a little bit more, and like Brennan describing the zombies trying to bite the party during that fight. And he didn't kind of bring that up in any way. So it certainly could be, but zombies don't function that way in Dungeons and Dragons typically. We didn't have much foreshadowing from Brennan, which would be unusual for a Dungeon Master. If the plot line is that Teor's brother Sid is infected, I feel like we would telegraph that with the zombies trying to bite the party in the first place. You know, mashing their teeth at them. Stuff like that, maybe. That's just kind of how you layer things as a Dungeon Master or a writer or a showrunner. But it's a fun theory. God, that'd be heartbreaking. That means a dark, dark, dark episode. Yeah, cinematic movie zombies spread infection pretty rapidly. It's getting faster and faster and faster. The rage virus is almost instantaneous. God, I pretty much I feel like it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds before you turn into a zombie yourself, or it's almost an instant reaction. For the people who have been in World War Z, we know very specifically it's 12 seconds to conversion from being a zombie. After you've been bitten. This is the weird kind of knowledge that gets stuck in my brain. 28 years later was wild. I love Murray. I also love the buddy cop of Murray and Bolaire. I'm looking forward to getting back to them as well. I'm really looking forward to watching the part that the tables influence each other over time. I think that's going to be really interesting. Oh, a Thiazi, another. Oh, that's the other vision. So, the whole reason for Thimble giving up that memory, she got a vision of kind of the betrayal of Thiazi, specifically to Casimir. I can see Aabria as well. We didn't see who was talking to Casimir, but Casimir clearly was like, screw, I hope he dies, I hope Thiazi dies, and got some gold, and he got the title to that estate, but we didn't see who gave it to him, And I felt like that was purposeful that we didn't get that information. Now, could that be somebody within the group? Could that be... but they would have recognized the voice. But it could be a character we've already met, or maybe not. It'd be wild if it was Julien. Yeah, Julien and the I don't think we've had Julien in like a cold open type scenario, but that'd be pretty interesting as well. Zombie virus power creep for real. I mean, zombies used to shamble and now they run. And if you're interested, I think I know the very first instance of a running zombie was in a video game called Nocturne. It's a very, very old video game, but I remember I went into a village. You fought werewolves and vampires. There are actually scenes in this video game that ended up kind of being converted into the movie Underworld, where there's like a werewolf train fight, stuff like that. I remember playing that game, and I loved it, but you go into a village, and the zombies were running zombies, and I don't believe there was any instance prior to that happening in a video game, movie, or TV show. And it was terrifying, and that the running zombies just kind of caught on. Yeah, the mentioning of the gloved hands could have been Primus Tachonis. That's absolutely true. Wakander's grandma. Wakander's grandma. What is that? Is that a Cockney accent? What a great character. Wakander's grandma really reminds me a little bit of Alfie Solomons from Peaky Blinders. Yeah, there is something very specific about the gauntlets, right? There seems to be some meaning behind the gauntlets to Julien and his father. So something is there. Either I feel like it's something more than ceremonial. Yeah, I think a Tyranny flashback would be interesting. I don't think we would necessarily get that while we're on the soldiers' table. We'd probably get that, I would think, right? Because you want to remind people of the other tables with these cold opens, so it makes sense that those cold opens would focus on other tables other than the table that we're focused on now. But I could be wrong. That's just me theory crafting what I myself would do. If you're interested in the Mighty Nine interviews, by the way, I've got 2 videos specifically about the Mighty Nine, interviewing the cast. I also have interviews with the cast of Campaign 4 up on the YouTube channel. What else? Oh yeah, and I have a review of all 8 episodes of the Mighty Nine. No spoilers included. I argue that the first instance of a running zombie is anyone who completes a marathon. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I could see maybe that's Julien's pathway into becoming an Echo Knight. Who knows? Right now, I believe previously they said he was a fighter rogue. Curious how that's gonna play out. I thought Julien was gonna be a battle master. Which are really fun. If you want the most complicated fighter, Battle Masters are really fun. You've got a lot of different scenarios you can do. I would love to see more of Wakander's grandmother. I love that character. What's with Tyranny sleeping on Wick's chest? So if you look at old paintings of demons, there are a lot of instances where you'll see demons sleeping on people's chest and people being paralyzed. This is a really nasty thing that can happen sometimes. So I've had sleep paralysis a couple of times. It's really scary. So the theory is, you see these paintings and these mentions of paralysis demons. That could have been superstition because it's hopefully, knock on wood. Jeez, I hate it. Sleep paralysis is really, really terrifying. And coming out of sleep paralysis is still terrifying because you're sometimes only able to move like a finger or an arm slightly as you're slowly coming out of it. It's a wild thing to have happen. Oh yeah, Tyranny's just being fun. So I don't think Tyranny's not actually a paralysis demon. Tyranny, I think that was Whitney just having fun and playing into tropes about demons historically. So I don't think there's any meaning behind that in any way. She's just kind of perched on him like a gargoyle, what is an amusing kind of evocative thing to say. Yeah, you can hallucinate with sleep paralysis as well. Yeah, Julian's a fighter level 2, rogue level 1. We've never had any mention of anyone leveling up yet, and I'm very curious if that's a conversation they'll have around the table, or they'll leave kind of the mechanics of everything, um, you know, behind the scenes. Hello, everyone who's jumping in the chat. We got 256 people. Let's try to get to 400. Thank you for joining. I don't know how many, everyone, 256 people, I don't know how many people know who I am. I've been interviewing Critical Role since Campaign 1. I did interviews with Campaign Forecast. I interview folks at Darrington Press about Daggerheart. I do all kinds of different things with the Critical Role team over there. They're a bunch of really lovely people, and I've been doing it for, 8 years? Since my time at D&D Beyond. Oh, actually, no, I interviewed Matt when I was just a YouTuber and I didn't have a job. I think I was unemployed, and I interviewed Matt at Emerald City Comic Con. That's how we actually met. It was pretty wild, actually. And that's how it began. Hello, Solo Studios official. How you doing? I really like the back and forth with Tyranny and Sam. It's just great to watch. The acting is so freaking fantastic, and it's a conversation I do want to ask them next time. Since 2000, my wife knows, since 2015 or 2016. What a weird moment that was. I think I remember telling Megan about it. I was like, I just met this guy named Matt. And we did this interview. Megan, didn't you help me with the interview? Am I wrong? I can't remember now. The memory is dusty. Daggerheart course is amazing. I love Daggerheart. I am trying to figure out how to stream Daggerheart. I used to stream D&D for 3 years straight. Then we did Legends of the Multiverse. I produced. You may know there's a Lego D&D game. I produced that live play show as the executive producer for that as well. And then I was writer and producer on the Gen Con Baldur's Gate 3 cast live play show that had Mulligan and Aabria dungeon mastering the shit out of it, and Anjali with Neil Newbon playing Astarion, and also Sam Bayart playing Karlak. From there, I did MCM. Emerald. I can't remember how to say it. It was a London game. We did a London game. Jeremy Crawford was kind enough to come in and dungeon master for me. I did a little bit of writing on that. I had all the characters from Baldur's Gate 3 turn into vampires. So Astarion, Neil Newbon had to actually sorry, my wife just said something really funny. Neil Newbon had to babysit all the Baldur's Gate 3 characters becoming vampires. Yeah, I'm really proud of them. The Gen Con show got 1.5 million views on D&D's YouTube channel. I think we got about 1 million views for the London game. I think we got even more views on the Magic Con game. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm really proud of those games. Great chemistry around the table. Really got great cast and crew. Super fun. Had a great time. Yeah. And Bria's, Jeremy's a fantastic dungeon master. Bria is also just a killer of a dungeon master. Really appreciate all the hard work she's put into both those shows. So yeah. So that's what I do, and that's what I've done, and that's what I'm doing this pre-show for Critical Role, and it also helps keep me sharp. Honestly, getting to talk to all of you, you have really good theories, talking to other critters, gets me pumped for the episode, wakes me up a little bit too, especially since I've been doing a lot of flying this year, it's pretty weird how much flying you have to do when you're unemployed, because you're just trying to get content. So, it's pretty wild. For those that have never been to LA, if you cannot go to LAX, go to Burbank. Burbank's a lovely airport. I highly recommend it. I hate LAX so bad. Oh yeah, my wife said, yes, I took, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Megan took the awkward prom photo of me and Matt. And now it's stuck in our Google Nest forever because it thinks thinks I'm married to Matt Mercer and also Megan somehow. Because we've been, Matt and I have been doing prom photos. This last time I saw him, I didn't take a prom photo because I think one prom photo a year is enough with Matt. It certainly confused the algorithms, that's for sure. Oh yeah, I think it'd be fantastic to have Neil Newbon on campaign 4. Yeah, Aabria is amazing dungeon master. Ah, thank you. Yeah, I've been wanting to do this kind of pre-game video since we did the reaction live stream right before the day before Critic Role's episode dropped, and so we did live stream, and I kind of wanted to get to start doing this as well. I like doing the reaction streams on top of that, but there's certainly value in kind of talking about theories and warming up right before a show, and getting a sense of community, really. So, yeah, Neil's a lovely, lovely human, by the way. Yeah, everyone currently theoretically is level 3. I don't think there's been any leveling up. So, there hasn't been any dramatic changes necessarily. I need to help the dungeon dudes do a live play show with Critical Role. But I feel like the cast is already pretty big. So, we'll see. I do miss actually being in live play shows a little bit now. I got a little burnt out. I DM'd a show for 3 years and then played in Legends of the Multiverse and stuff like that. But producing and being in a show is exhausting. So I don't know that I have in me to both produce a show and be in a show. Oh, that's very kind. Yeah, they're kind enough to have me for the session 0 of Tales from Wood Creek. That was pretty funny. Deborah is just a lovely human being, super talented, wildly talented, an absolute sport, really fun. Thug number 2. This is a weird thing to be insecure about. They gave me a hat to wear as a thug, and you can't necessarily tell in the video, but like, I am 6'5", and to put this in perspective, Jeff Goldblum's 6'5", Liam Neeson, Frankenstein is 6'5", so I can't find hats that fit. I have to special order a hat if I want to wear a hat, which is just another device that makes you even more tall. But for all those people that love wearing hats, I can't wear hats. I've got 2 hats I special ordered that do fit my head, and that's about it. I see hats all the time. I'm like, oh, that's a really cool hat, and nope, I have a giant skull. Yeah, Sam Bayard does a great job of Karlach, and they know those characters so well. Those live streams, that's why those live streams did so well. Millions and millions and millions of views because, you know, they're a group of voice actors, but they didn't really work together on the video game. You know, they were in separate locations doing a lot of their voicing, but it's through the live play show. And their very first live play show was High Rollers. Big shout out to the High Rollers crew, and they had them on. You see that you can kind of see that a lot of them weren't used to necessarily playing D&D, but you see their chemistry evolve. You know, you see them playing in the Gen Con game, and the chemistry is building, and then you see the Magic Con game. But by the time we get to the Magic Con game, people are firing on all cylinders. They're absolutely hilarious. Dagger Heart's really fun. I really like the system. Yes, height will affect your head size. It also makes planes really sucky, and when people lean their chair back, oh my god, that can be even worse. I've had people lean their chair back on a plane, and it will be just crunching on my actual kneecaps, and I've had to ask people to like, please don't, because a plane was so small. It actually happened, and this one guy was like really rude and put off by it. I'm like, I can't control how physically tall I am. It's an absolutely absurd thing to be annoyed with someone about. This is the first time ever on this plane ride I did actually accidentally lean my chair back, and I don't know that I gave a crap one way or the other. It's such a weird thing to have chairs do. Oh yeah, Abe Lincoln was super tall and wore a stovepipe hat. I don't think I would like to wear a stovepipe hat, though that's certainly a fashion piece. I might do a top hat. 6'5" tall. I stopped a fight once by just picking someone up and not putting them back down again. It's hard to stay consistently angry when you can't touch the ground for a considerable amount of time. I have some weird farmer strength from growing up on a farm, so, you know, why throw a punch when you can just squeeze someone until they pick them up in the air until they stop being angry, or they're frankly so emasculated that they don't have the will to fight. It's pretty rough, actually. It's pretty rough. Honestly, the worst thing that ever happened once is someone got a little unruly in college, and I picked them up. They tried to kick my knee, which is wild because you can really hurt someone by kicking their knee. And then I actually lifted them up in the air so they couldn't kick my knee again defensively. But the ceiling was really low, and that was the end of that. That was the end of the fight. He turned out okay. Everything was fine. But yeah, hell of a thing to pick someone up so high that they hit the ceiling. It's pretty wild stuff. So I'm excited for this Critical Role episode. Again, I think it's going to be pretty focused on Taylor Prideshire and Sid and possibly Casimir as well. And we'll get maybe not necessarily a resolution, but I think we're going to get into it pretty big into this particular episode. I can't believe it's episode 7, everybody. It's pretty wild. Time's kind of flying by. I'll be sad to not have the show on Thanksgiving. Yeah, planes are absolutely the worst. I hate planes. I hate traveling. I really, it's just, you know, I think it's really cool when you're younger. Like when you're younger, the first time you travel somewhere, it's wild and crazy. And it all kind of bleeds together because inevitably, 99.9% of the time I've ever traveled anywhere was for work. So I don't necessarily get to see a lot of the city, or I have to cram a whole bunch of seeing the city into very short periods of time. Yeah, we are definitely going to be at the soldiers' table. I still don't see a reason for, given that these episodes are being shot in advance, that they can't cut between different episodes here and there when that makes sense. So I think maybe we will see a little bit of that eventually happen, possibly. When it's relevant. Like if someone sends a message to another table or something directly affects another table, it'd be wild to cut between the two tables and how those tables are affected by that kind of instance. I'm on the fence about whether Sid's going to be alive or dead or be in danger. I definitely think Sid will be in danger. Oh yeah, I know people taller than me. I mean, they're far and few between. In the TV show Reacher, because he's so tall, he keeps on commenting how he never has legroom anywhere. How tall is he, by the way? That dude's ripped. And he's also hilarious. I don't watch Reacher, but I saw him in... the Henry Cavill movie where they're killing Nazis, right? What is that movie? The actor who is from Reacher has a bow and he's just murdering people left and right. He's so funny in that movie. Actually, I thought it was a bit brilliant. Oh yeah, by the way, if you want to support the stream, we got 273 people in here. Super chats really help. Stickers, gifting subs to people, all that stuff keeps these streams happening. We have reaction videos to every Critical Role episode. We have these pre-game episodes that we're going to be doing. I'll probably buy some, animated graphics and stuff like that to spruce up the stream. I interviewed the Campaign 4 cast. I interviewed the Mighty 9 cast for the animated show very recently. I reviewed and watched all of the Mighty 9, and it is a fantastic series. You're going to be really happy. The only thing you're going to be complaining about is that the season ends. That will make you sad, because you'll want more for sure. I'm not just saying that. It didn't occur to me until actually a day ago. I had watched all 8 episodes in a row, and I had a great time doing so. It's a bingeable show. But it's nice that Amazon is releasing the episodes one by one. Oh yeah, clothes is another issue. I'm constantly trying to, being 6'5" is a nightmare for clothes. And if you wash the clothes the wrong way, they shrink, and then you get plumber's crack, and it's all kinds of issues really. So, do you think they're gonna be traveling out of the city once Thimble gets her revenge? Traveling out of the city once Thimble gets her revenge? Well, they're already out of the city, so... Jesse Jerdak. I don't know if Jesse Jerdak... I know B. Dave Walters is taller than me. Jesse Jerdak, I don't remember if he's taller than I am. Very sweet guy. I remember meeting him a couple of years ago, and super kind to me. I'll always remember that. I always remember people who are kind. He was super nice. Yeah, 6'5" is the whole thing, man. It's kind of overkill. But that when I see a tall person, I'm like, ooh. It's funny. I always forget that I'm taller than. I saw Travis recently, and I always forget that I'm taller than Travis Willingham. So every time I see him, it's just in my brain. Travis is just huge, and I'm so much bigger than him. And I think he's 6'2". He might be 6'2" or 6'3". I haven't asked him, but it's always wild because I got grog on the brain. I guess I think eventually I'm just gonna play a giant in a D&D game to work out all my tall person issues. Six foot 7 is so much, man. I don't know how anyone who's taller than 6'5" handles an airplane. We got 270 people here in chat. We're warming up to the episode. We're at 6:24. We're gonna be popping in there in about 30 minutes. I'm excited to watch it with y'all. And then we'll do a reaction video tomorrow as well, time allowing. I've tried the reaction video streams in the mornings. I've done them in the afternoon. It always kind of varies, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, Jesse's a good bean. Travis is always been incredibly kind and sweet to me. As is the entire cast. But there is something about being tall and seeing another tall person. You're you just kind of... It's like Spider-Man pointing at Spider-Man. My beard is getting long. I don't know if I want this beard to be any longer than this. So Casimir playing both sides or Draconis and the Hall of Our... Oh, yeah, Casimir could be... I don't think he is. He was a little bit strong in his language about not liking Theazi. That was a little on the nose, but I could be totally wrong. So I do actually typically ask for if I can get the, they can make you they charge you more now for being in the emergency row because they've kind of charged everybody everything for anything that you could possibly want. But I do often try to get the emergency row for the legroom. Again, thank you everyone for the super chats and the stickers and the gifted subs. That makes these streams possible. Typically these are, we're doing this live. The VOD will only get like about 3,000 views, which is very low. But it's the support from people in the community that actually makes these streams kind of possible. So that I don't believe that's interesting. Actually, Solo Stew is official. So my understanding is that the Thimble did a deal with the hag to be able to get information from the hag. So I think that was divination magic on behalf of the hag, and that's why the hag had that memory of Casimir. Now, however, now that you mentioned it, wouldn't it be wild if the hag had eaten that memory as well? So the person that was paying off Casimir had the memory removed by the hag, or the hag had dealings with that particular person. That would be pretty wild. But I think it was really a case of the hag using divination magic to give information to Thimble in that Thimble specifically wanted in exchange for a memory. Yeah, do they charge you more for seats? They'll charge you anything for a seat. Yeah, no, it's wild. I don't know the last time you bought a plane ticket, but there's 100 ways to spend money on a seat. So I always do the very cheapest, scariest way that's not insured and all that stuff. And I take what I can get. I always try to get like a window or an aisle seat because my legs, since I have to make myself very small. If I'm in the middle seat, I also have huge shoulders, and it just really sucks. I hate plane rides are the worst. I just can't stand it. Flying to LA isn't too bad. It's about a 2-hour, 20-minute flight, so it's definitely doable. And we have enough flights between Seattle and LA that the planes aren't usually full up. Oh, you think it might have been Sid's memory? That'd be interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. I think we'll get clarification in this next episode. So we're about 30 minutes out. Very exciting. Just gonna check on something real quick. I'll try not to have an angry face. Ba-ba-ba-da. Do. And there we go. Oh, wow. Thanks for the super chat. Oh, sent 50 Todd Kenrick gift memberships. Holy crap. Oh my god. Okaden P. Thank you so much for... You sent 50 Todd Kenrick gift memberships. That is absolutely wild. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. That's huge. Holy crap. Well... That's going to be chat for the next hour. Oh my god. Thank you so much, man. That's absolutely huge. Oh, that's wild. God, look at all those gift memberships. Wow. It's going to keep going. I've never had anyone give out that many gift memberships to the YouTube channel in my life. That is absolutely why it's still going. Oh my god. Thank you so much, man. That's huge. Oh yeah, are ads running? Because that would be a big bummer if ads weren't running. Yeah, it looks like they're switched on. Perfect. That's crazy. Wow, that is wild. Oh my god. We're just gonna let that happen for a while. Yeah, ads are running. Good, good, good. Good, good, good to know. That's what happened last year. I mean, not last year, last week. I forgot to turn on ads, and people gifting subs and sending super chats kind of saved the day. It was a real bummer. Yeah, that is absolutely wild. Holy crap. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, you get the little I'm gonna make some new icons. So you get the little Averin coin. That campaign coins actually made the coin for me of my character Averin, so that's a nice little emote. Yeah, we're 30 minutes out towards episode 7. It's been a wild ride to get there. Hopefully, I'm going to get to interview the campaign, the cast of Campaign 4 again, and kind of catch up and see how the plot is going. And I think that would be really fun. Just a little bit of a catch up, and I really kind of want to pick Brennan's brain. I very much like how Brennan Mulligan's mind works. But thank again, thank you for all those subs. Thank you, Patrick, so much. That's absolutely wild and so very kind for you to do for all those people. Have I interviewed Brennan Mulligan before? I have. I was actually in a D&D game with Brennan Mulligan. He was the game master at the beginning of Legends of the Multiverse. Pretty wild, post-COVID Zoom call style show. Yeah, I interviewed Brennan briefly about Campaign 4 as well. So yeah, I haven't done a big, long, extensive, typical Todd Kenrick type of interview. Yeah, let's hope Sam's finger has healed. Oh, you still have your Avon coin? I love physical merch. Yeah, I think you can still buy those at Campaign Coins. The Avon coin. I have a bunch of Avon coins myself. Still, I kind of want to drop one in the River Thames so that 1,000 years from now, people will be like, "Who was this god named Avon?" It'd be kind of funny for them to try to figure out. This is just from a role-playing game. This is just absolute nonsense. Yeah, it'd be fun to interview the individual tables. That'd be fun. Yeah, I mean, Sam's on the opposite side of yeah, we gotta keep Sam away from we gotta keep everyone from Robbie. Robbie's a dangerous person. He's breaking people's fingers off, yelling at people. Oh, he didn't heal yet? Oh no. That's terrifying. Getting older sucks, man. Todd, I loved the interviews that you did with the Dungeon Dudes and Deborah and Walt. We got more interviews from the Dungeon Dudes and Deborah and Walt coming up very soon, by the way. We would love to see you do some long-form podcast-style interviews. So I did release a long-form, hour-long interview that did not do well. I did it as a YouTube premiere, and maybe that's why it didn't do as well. But I did it with Iffy and Jeremy Crawford right before they ended up doing Acquisitions Incorporated, and that was an hour-long interview. But something about YouTube Premiere, it just didn't do well. So I may try taking it down and then re-uploading it and testing that out. But I don't know why it didn't do better. And then I also published a little bit older interview, but the full-length interview between Spencer Stark and Rowan Hall, specifically about Daggerheart, that I acquired a bit ago. So, and that was a long form, another premiere, and again, it did not do well in YouTube's algorithm. So I may just end up not doing YouTube premieres anymore. Or that content just didn't really interest people for whatever reason. It's a great conversation between Iffy and Jeremy Crawford, by the way. I really thought that was going to do significantly better. It's wild being a YouTuber not knowing what's going to hit and what doesn't. And you don't know unless you try. You know, the fact that we have 280 people in here right now is completely wild. And I could have easily not ended up doing this, but it's turned into like kind of a big success. Hopefully we kind of gather more and more people in here. Also, if you have advice for things that maybe games we could do before the show plays, or maybe I could stream and answer chat, like play Dispatch or something, or we could figure out other things to do other than me just meandering about the previous episodes. Let me know. I'm open to any suggestions that makes this a nice, entertaining pre-show for everybody involved. Yeah, that's true. Long-form content maybe does better at night. I find that publishing in the mornings is better because you see significant drop-off as people are going to bed. I've never really been able to crack that nut, actually. You do bingo for the episode? Bingo! Critical Role bingo would be pretty fun, actually. That's pretty funny. Oh, man, I love it. I'm good. Let's do it. Let's do a bingo board episode. Yeah. Yeah, I think I can make a really funny bingo card. If we do a bingo card, I think we know enough about the characters that we can maybe do a bingo card. Yeah, that'd be fun. Oh, I'd love to watch the Sierra cast playing Dispatch. Have they not done that? Yeah, I guess not. I am a real person. That is absolutely true. I am not AI. I did hear an AI. So you know you can actually cause something to read an article out loud, and my expectation was, it was just going to be a generic robot voice, just reading verbatim an article, and I was horrified because that's what I thought I was getting. I thought I was still getting the article experience, right? Just a robot voice telling you what it was. It didn't. It turns someone's article into a fake podcast between two people, one person being interviewed and the one person being the interviewee. And that was not the format of the article at all. So this was AI taking that information and turning it into a fake podcast, and it almost sounded like a real podcast. And I was like, I was horrified. I was just horrified at it. It was absolutely wild. I don't want to constantly question if I am talking to a human or not, or if something is original content all the time. It's just exhausting. Take a shot. No, I need to be kinder to my liver. I don't think I'll take a shot every time someone rolls a nat 1 or a 20. That could kill you in this game. Todd is a synth confirmed. I love synths. I've been trying to figure out why. So this is a whole rant. I don't understand it. I love constructs in D&D. I love synths in the alien universe. Ex Machina is one of my favorite movies. I think it's brilliant. Obviously, I love things like Iron Giant, and I can't really watch that a lot because it makes me so sad. I love Short Circuit as a little kid. I love anything to do with Frankenstein. I love constructed beings. I'm not quite sure why that is. But those 50, again, big shout out to Patrick for the 50 gift subs. That's absolutely wild. Look at all those green names of official Todd Kenrick watchers. That's totally crazy. How would I not? That's horrifying. Don't do that to me. If everyone here was AI and I didn't know, that's a Black Mirror episode. I gotta tell you. But that does explain why people think Wakander is a clockwork soul sorcerer. That's exactly what AI would try to convince you. So, suspicious. Oh, I wish I played more of the Fallout games. I reviewed them. They were hard. Though I used to professionally review games. Fallout's one of those games that's almost impossible to review. You know, kind of like Skyrim for the same reasons because of the length of them. Um, I love synths. I love what was that wild one with Oh, it was AI. It was literally was called AI. Wake up, Todd. This is a dream. Um, it's pretty funny. Anyways, I love playing constructs. I think they're one of my favorite things. I feel like I'd be better at my job if I was a synth. Yeah, I know that feeling, Cassius. Oh man, we were getting close. 20 minutes out, 19 minutes out. Westworld, I loved Westworld, and you know, it got death started not mattering in Westworld, so that was getting a little tiresome, I guess. That last season was a little wonky, and I wanted to see another season. That first season of Westworld was fantastic. I loved it. Oh yeah, a Westworld D&D campaign would be actually pretty fun. Now there is a kind of a Wild West you're kind of anti-construct game, but that's where you're fighting giant robots in Daggerheart. It's called I just my brain fried. I forgot what it was. There's a really cool campaign frame in Daggerheart where it's kind of like the Old West, but there's these giant roaming constructs as well that you have to fight. So it's pretty cool. Fallout has a 2D20 TTRPG. I'll have to check it out. I actually have the because I'm obsessed with Dishonored. I have the Dishonored TTRPG. I never got to play it, but it's a fun read, and I know it actually Colossus of the Drylands. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love Daggerheart. Yeah, Westworld season 1 was freaking amazing. I was also very proud that I figured out the twist before the end of the season, so I'm pretty good at figuring out twists in movies and TV shows for a variety of reasons. When I get surprised, I'm excited, but my brain just kind of moves in strange directions. Warforged Gunslinger is always really fun. Yeah, the channel's doing pretty well. I mean, like, honestly, the channel's doing well because of the support of all of the people like you who are in chat right now. Like, someone just gifted 50 subs to everybody in chat. It's completely wild, and it's a game changer. Things like that. Because if I was talking about Marvel movies and stuff like that, I'd probably get a lot more views, right? It's hard to talk about necessarily like Critical Role or Daggerheart, but like this is what I've been doing for like the last 10 years of my life. My wife Megan's pretty good at predicting shows as well. Her analysis of shows, she's caught multiple episodes of movies. She's figured out the plot before me. But there is a rule that I keep my shit to myself. Because it does get, yeah. I have not seen the Twisted Metal TV show. I'm curious, is it any good? What channel is it on? I keep forgetting. It's like something I never see promoted for some reason. If it's good, I'll check it out. What? I love tabletop games, and I've always really enjoyed Critical Role. I think, and it's about the people as well. And the Critical Role community has been so amazingly kind to me over the years. 15 minutes to go. It's something I will never take for granted, and I'm always surprised by it. People from the Critical Role community, like you guys, coming up to me at Gen Con, honestly, almost just completely broke my heart at times. So, because people were so nice, and sometimes it's hard for you to hear nice things from people. So, the critter hug is a very real thing. Not used to it. I hope I know. Oh, Peacock TV. Wow. Peacock TV is still a thing, huh? I remember when they were trying to get that up and running when I was at NBC. Oh, man. I'm pretty sure I'm still under NDA on that stuff. Streamlabs is becoming a tyrant. Is it because the all caps issue? I can probably get that fixed. I am not smarter than Megan. Yeah, I have to keep that shit to myself. I think it's more that Megan wants to enjoy a show. Whereas I feel the need to feel like a smarty pants. And so I'll just obsess about plot points rather than maybe experiencing a show, which is the right thing to be doing. I'm a bad movie watcher. It's an analytical brain problem because I used to review video games. I was insufferable when Megan met me, actually, because I played so many video games. I was constantly absorbing plot lines and all this other stuff, and I was criticizing video games because I was a reviewer. I would review video games. Well, doing that a whole bunch makes you kind of critical of everything in the world at some point, and it makes you kind of insufferable if you don't control that. So I've let that bleed out of me. It's kind of funny because my review of the Mighty Nine got demonetized because there was footage from the trailer, and consequently also didn't get a lot of views. And I realized I also just don't like reviewing I don't like reviewing things. I think it's really reductive, and I don't want to become a real critical person mentally ever again. I don't know, it's hard to explain. If you're analyzing something like art all the time and kind of deconstructing it, I don't know that you can appreciate it in the same way that other people appreciate it. So I'll take a look at Streamlabs. I'll tweak some of the bots that are handling chat. And I'll get some of that stuff fixed so people aren't getting put in any type of timeout of any kind. So I do apologize about that. do. Sorry about that. I actually hit the mute button on accident. Yeah, we're going to keep the stream going up right to the last minute and then enjoy the show. Oh, yeah. Hey, support streams like this. You can also, by the way, you get $10 off your very first game if you click the link that's in there right now from Streamlabs. So, from Start Playing. If you go to that link, it's gonna get you $10 off. You can like play a game of D&D, Daggerheart. It's money being left on the table if you don't click it and try it out. It's something. Start Playing is something I'm gonna use to learn Daggerheart better. So that's absolutely what I'm gonna work on. Thank you so much, Oaken P. Thank you all, everyone, for the super chatters. Thank you for the gift subs, Patrick. That's absolutely wild. Everyone super appreciates that. You could do a NPC spotlight or an MVP moment that might structure the beginning. Yeah, I think breakdowns. I don't mind doing breakdowns. I just don't want to review anything in a critical sense. So maybe I'll start doing breakdowns. How have you thought about doing character build videos again? Yeah, I have thought about it, and I've got a couple of character build videos in my brain, and I will test those out, and we'll see how those do. We're 10 minutes before the stream. I love hanging out with all of you right before the game. That's it gives me kind of a sense of community. Honestly, being unemployed, you don't have that kind of work environment where you see people every day, so being able to hang out and live stream and kind of have this back and forth with chat is it's kind of like with our dog. We need to socialize our dog once in a while, right? Like I need to be socialized once in a while. This is what chat's doing for me. So I appreciate everybody. But yeah, we'll start doing character build videos again. I used to do that at D&D Beyond all the time. I'm also one of the founding members of D&D Beyond, wildly enough. Already 5K. Yeah, the Critical Role audience is absolutely massive. I'd love to grow this pre-show a little bit, so I'll try different ways. Fun employed? I will tell you, there's a lot of anxiety tied to being unemployed. You always feel like you should be working. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of stress for sure. No, I won't lie. Looking at some stuff I need to check on. Okay. All right. How high did we get to? We got to around 305. It's a little less than the 400 that we had the first time we did that, but I think we can still grow. I think that's just a function of the day. Honestly, I was really worried about being too exhausted from traveling to do this, and I didn't think I was going to make it, but you all gave me a whole bunch of energy, so I really appreciate that. I feel human now. I did not feel human at the start of the stream. Full disclosure, I am exhausted, working a lot of hours, doing a lot of traveling. Probably should be a lot healthier too. I just need to just drink a ton of water, eat broccoli and oatmeal, and get into super good shape to keep up the energy. My wife is being very supportive in chat. Everyone, you have a lovely evening. We are 6 minutes out. I understand that people are going to start leaving the stream pretty rapidly, but I appreciate all of you, and thank you for the support. Absolutely wild. That, and come back next week. If you really want to support the stream, come back. I also hope the ad frequency isn't too often. Now you want oatmeal? Nighttime oatmeal is wild. But I love oatmeal for what an emergency snack it can be. I'm always going to be very hard on myself. It's difficult. Good night from Los Angeles. I was just there. Have a great one. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Get some rest. Love the content you're making. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Brandon Keene. Super chat demanding me sleep. I will probably take you up on that offer. Yeah, it feels like a book club, actually. It is a little, ooh. It's like, it is kind of a little critter book club that we got going on right now. I like it. I like where your head's at. We're 5 minutes out. What kind of fantasy sport do you include in your games? Ex-athlete would be fun to play. What kind of fantasy sport? Oh, wow. I have never you know what? I've never invented a fantasy sport, which is wild because you think I would have. I can tell you what my favorite fantasy sport is, but it's in a video game, and it's called Hupball. It's Star Wars The Old Republic, and my wife and I murdered everyone in Star Wars The Old Republic in Hupball. We were a nasty, nasty Sith team, and we just would dunk on the other teams over and over and over and over again because our gaming tables were right next to each other, and we just destroyed people in PvP for the MMO. We just wrecked people. I can say that. It was unconscionable. Yeah. People were so frustrated. We knew our characters and our abilities so well. We absolutely destroyed people at Hupball in Star Wars Old Republic. So we should have streamed that. That would have been. We probably would have had thousands of people watching us stream Star Wars The Old Republic Hupball for how much we wrecked people. It was pretty wild. Yeah, so I think next week I'll look at doing I got a lot going on next week, but I think let's try to do a dispatch stream. We'll keep doing these pre-shows. We'll keep doing the reaction streams. And I'll probably do a build character stream as well. We didn't kill no younglings were killed while we were playing PvP. Well, not that we were aware of. Yeah, well, Thanksgiving, I don't think they have an episode of Critical Role. God, Star Wars Old Republic PvP was amazing. It was the people who designed Star Wars Old Republic PvP were the people who did Warhammer Online, and the people who did Warhammer Online was the same team that originally created PvP for Warcraft. So these were seasoned professionals at making PvP fun. They were just brilliant mechanics, and I actually got to meet Timoland. I was in the alphas for Star Wars The Old Republic and all this other stuff. So it's really a fantastic team. Also, I think the most voiced video game in history, and this still might be true. But Dave from Wisconsin, no episode usually on Thanksgiving. Yeah, I don't think there'll be an episode on Thanksgiving. Makes me a little sad. But, you know, that's take the breaks when you can get them, I guess. And we are 1 minute out. 2 minutes. 2 minutes before the show begins. You're right. Yeah, some people might already be traveling, and we've got some people at PAX Unplugged. But yeah, thank you, Cassius. Thank you, everybody. I understand everyone's going. You gotta get to that stream. Get to getting. So I appreciate you. I'm gonna go and put up the stream is ending screen. But have a great night. I appreciate all of you, and thank you for being such a overwhelmingly positive community to get to interact with. I really appreciate you. Have a great night, everyone.